Good morning, friends, and welcome to the pre-market view. It's a relief that the weekend has come finally after the carnage that we saw in the mid-cap space over the past 3 to 4 days, where the stocks have corrected anywhere from about 10 to 25%. Talking about the global markets, Dow was up about 0.3 to 0.4%. However, the Nasdaq was down as we continue to see weakness in the Apple stock, and it corrected another 10% on the concerns of the growth over the next few quarters, as iPhone and some of their other products are not showing any meaningful growth visibility. Talking about the European markets, they were up about 0.5 to almost about 1%. And when we look at the Asian markets today, the Nikkei is up about 2% as the yen has corrected to almost about 90 against the dollar, whereas the other markets are showing marginal negative kind of a tick. And talking about the flows, the FIs were net buyers in the cash market to the tune of about 1046 crore, whereas the domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of 725 crore. On that note, let me invite Shaival to take us through important F&O cues, ideas and strategies that we could have in the F&O markets.
Good morning, friends. Let's have a view at derivatives now. Friends, in yesterday's trade, we have seen that the mid-caps we had a carnage across the mid-cap stocks, and due to which we have also seen that the Nifty has ended on a negative note. But in yesterday's session, we have seen that some profit takeaway has been taken place by the market participants, and the PCR ratio has cooled off to 1.05. Talking about the implied volatility, we have seen an uptick in the implied volatility, say by around 5 to 10%. So we feel that there would be some uncertainty in the market in coming days. Now, talking about the strikes, what we have observed is that 6,000 call option of the current series as well as of the next series has witnessed a good activity, both call as well as put side. So this is the level which we need to watch on. And on higher side, 6050, which is also a weekly VWAP, would act as a hurdle on closing basis for the market in the coming trading sessions. 6100 and 6200 call option has added a good amount of open interest and stands with the highest number of shares. So if 6050 is taken off, then probably we would be able to see higher target. But as of now, 6050 is the resistance what we feel. And as we have closed below the weekly VWAP of 6050, our bias for the market is negative, and on lower side 5950 can be seen in coming trading sessions. From intraday perspective, yes, SGX Nifty is suggesting a positive opening. We may see some bounce coming in the market, so we'd like to play on the positive side. And we recommend to buy Kotak Bank from intraday perspective with stop loss of 642 rupees. LNT, one can buy LNT with stop loss of 1558 10 paisa, and one can go short on Aditya Birla Nova with a stop loss of 1150.15. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. L&T announced a good set of numbers, particularly order inflow in quarter 3 was almost about 19,545 crore, which was much better than the market expectations, as some section of the market believed that the order inflow could be muted due to cancellations of orders from a couple of corporates like GVK and GMR Infra. However, the management commentary and the outlook was quite positive, and that helped the sentiment for the L&T stock, which actually recovered almost about 2% once the results was announced. The only bit of a negative factor was that the operating profit margin was about 9.6 odd percent as against about 10%. So there was about 40 basis points cut in the margins. But otherwise, in terms of the sales, in terms of the profit growth, order inflow, the numbers were extremely good. And the fact that the L&T stock has already corrected from about 1700 to 1750 to this current level, it provides a good opportunity for the investors. In another development, the RBI has hiked the FI limit on the corporate bonds and the GSECs by $5 billion each, taking the total limit to almost about $75 billion, which would help the current account deficit. And this also helped the USD INR, which actually appreciated by about 20 basis points once this announcement was made to about 53.68 odd levels. We had seen a huge carnage across the mid-cap and the small-cap stocks and even some of the large caps like Tata Motors over the past few days. The prominent losers were actually IL, which was down about 22% in yesterday's trade. IVR sale was down about 20%. Even a stock like RCom, where there are some positive news, also corrected almost about 9%. And Tata Motors, after the guidance that came out from JLR corrected almost about 6 to 7%, and even DB Realities was down 10%. What is concerning is that these stocks are definitely part of the mid-cap category, but they have a large market cap, and once they are down about 10, 15, 20%, it affects the sentiment, it triggers of the margin call, and overall sentiment of the market gets affected, particularly the guys who are buying the stock on a funding basis. So we would see some kind of a negative sentiment for some of these high beta names over the next few days. Maruti would be announcing their numbers for this quarter, and we are looking at a very strong growth in the top line and bottom line of almost about 131 crore at the net profit level and about 40% at the top line level. Even the volume growth for this quarter would be almost 25%, as last year the company had some problems in terms of labor. So because of that base effect, the growth is going to be pretty good. Also, the fact that the yen has come down to about $90 odd is helping the sentiment for the Maruti stocks. The overall bias continues to remain positive there. Reliance Communication is planning to enter into a deal with Reliance Industries, whereby the total about 50 odd thousand towers could be leased to Reliance Industries for a total payment of about 8.5 to about 10,000 crore per annum. This deal has been buzzing around for the past few days. The stock had corrected Reliance Communication, but we believe that this provides a good pullback opportunity. So one could go long in Reliance Communication with the stop loss at 78.5 and a target of about 84. Suzlon has finally entered into a CDR through the SBI and the consortium of banks for a total rejig of about 9,500 crores. So one can go long on Suzlon with a stop loss of 17.60 and a target of about 18.5 to about 19. Lupin has received an approval for one of its oral contraceptive tablet in the US markets, with a total sales of about $81.1 million. So one can go long on Lupin with a stop loss of 577 and a target of about 607 to about 618. SKS Microfinance has managed a very smart turnaround and reported a profit of 1.2 crore in the recent quarter after reporting losses for many quarters. And this would be definitely a big positive, because there's a feel that now the company has turned around and could actually grow over the next few years. So one can go long on SKS Microfinance with a stop loss of 161 and a target of about 169 to about 172. Coromandel has bought a 56% stake in Baroda-based Liberty Phosphate, and it will pay the promoters of Liberty Phosphate almost about 241 rupees, totaling to about 196 crore. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great weekend and see you on Monday morning.